Hi, today on Outdoor Gear and Skills, I wanted to kind of do a follow-up to the video I did last week about checking your gear. I just got my mountain bike back from Canyon Creek Bikes here in Roseburg, Oregon, and I had to get the chain fixed. I broke the chain at the end of my ride, and I had to take care of my CO2 issue. So one of the things I really originally talked about there was that I had four non-threaded CO2 cartridges, and then the CO2 trigger head was actually threaded. I don't know how long I've been carrying these around, and I have not needed them on the trail. And when it got to the point that I needed it, there really was no one else around for a while. And I used my bike pump, and I got my tire as full as I could, but nowhere near enough to be able to ride it out. So I had to walk my bike for a ways, and then I got a guy on the way up that had the threaded cartridges and his CO2 head. He was able to get me all taken care of, and I rode the rest of the ride. So it was really good. But one of the things that happened with him, I think I mentioned it, is he said he had two cartridges, and he pulls them out of his CamelBak, and one has actually been used, and the other one was good. He let me use the one that was good, but to his point, he's like, oh crap, I gotta, check my bag more often. So for me, I'm riding around using the wrong type of CO2 with the wrong type of head, so they're not even compatible, thinking that I'm good. If I get a flat tire, I'm out somewhere. So that wasn't good. And I guess what I did is I just kind of had it in a bag, and I looked, and I said, I've got part A, part B that go together, and I didn't verify and just do a quick inspection to make sure that these two actually worked. So that was mistake number one, that I needed to do that. So today I picked up these threaded CO2. I've got two of them I'm going to carry with me now, but I just want to show you the size difference. So this is 25 grams. I have no idea what this one is. I just picked these up at Walmart in a box of like 12 years ago. So I've got two of these now. I'll no longer be carrying this in my bag. So I've got two of these. In talking to Colin, this will get my tire fully inflated and have a little bit of leftover. I always like to have a backup just in case. I've actually been on a ride years ago with several people. We were on the Wasatch Crest Trail, the only time I've been on that trail, up in Salt Lake City in the ski resort area, and one rider got 3 flat tires. So I just like to have a backup. I'm a big fan to having a backup. And the other thing I did is I got a master chain link. I do have a chain breaker tool, and it's okay for popping the pin out and getting your link off. Terrible for trying to drive a pin through. Those things are all done by machine, and it's really hard to line it up. So a master chain link here, so that if my chain does break, I can pop that out and throw this back on and keep me going on the trail. So as I was talking to Craig over there, he's the one that did the work on my bike today, one of the things he said, and you won't be able to see this, but when I changed my rear tire after I got my pinch flat, I went to go screw my through axle back on, and actually had a little bit of dirt in the swing arm hole, and I kind of backed it out and kind of, blew that out a little bit and screwed it back in. But I think what was happening was I was going too fast. I wasn't paying attention. It was our last ride of the day. We were trying to get back to the hotel in time to take a shower before we drove 4 hours back to where my parents live. And so I was trying to catch up with my boys. I was trying to be quick, and I did not screw my through axle all the way in. I actually screwed it to where it was flush with the swing arm. And so what happened as I was riding, my gear was splitting, or my derailleur was splitting in between my gears, and it put too much tension on my chain, and it popped that. Thankfully, it was at the end of the ride, and I just walked the bike about 1/5 of a mile off the end of the trail back to the truck. So that was okay. So I didn't go all the way through. I'm pretty sure I looked and saw that it was flush, and when I looked on the other side, it looked like it was flush, but I didn't verify that I had it screwed all the way down. So as I look at it now, there's actually a few threads that stick out of there. So that mistake is just trying to go too fast to get back on and just kind of miss the obvious signs of doing a check. You know, is that screwed on tight enough? Is it properly threaded? Did I get all the dirt out of it? Did I get everything lined up properly? So that's another thing is I just sometimes I get so laser focused on, you know, I got to catch up with my boys. We don't have much time. This is my son's, you know, bike trip for his birthday, his high school graduation. And I'm just trying to get out there. I'm trying to go too fast. And I just need to do the whole slow is smooth, smooth is fast. You know, Mark Wahlberg from Shooter. There's a lot of other units and things like that do that, but just taking a second to slow down and pay attention and see if I'm missing anything instead of going so fast that I screwed things up. I did keep the tube, and I just cut big sections out on my tube right there. And then what I do is I'll just take these and I cut them in smaller sections like that I can just either throw over Altoids cans, or this one's just an old plastic tire repair kit. And that way, when I throw these on, they're not gonna pop up in my bag and just spill all the little parts around. I've got, this is where my master link will go, but I've got a couple bolts in here. I've got an extra magnet for the that goes on the tire for the bike computer. I've got another valve for a Presta tube in here. So I've just got a couple of things that I need. So I like to keep these to throw them on and keep those tight on there. That's no way that's coming open. So it's just a good way to kind of repurpose something. I'm not a big fan of trying to fix or mend tubes when I get a flat tire. I've just found it to be a major headache. It takes a lot of time, and a lot of times it won't hold the pressure anyway. So I'll just go ahead and cut the tube, and then I've got a long section that I'll just use over time. I'll actually put it over paracord and rope as well. So I think the moral to the story is just going through all of my gear. A couple of things. One, going through the gear, making sure the parts make sense. Does everything match up? If I've got a multi-tool in my bag, do those fit on my bike? Do they fit on my headset? Do they fit throughout the bike so that I've got the right things with me? Number two, just slowing down, making sure I've got everything. After I've gotten everything back together and I've thrown all the guts and everything back into my Camelback, taking a look around, did I leave anything? For me, I didn't make the mistake on this trip, but I've done it before. I am very much a routine-driven person. When I get out of my routine, that's when I mess things up. So typically, when I go riding, I'd take my helmet off, take my sunglasses off, I'll put them in my helmet, set it in the back seat. I'll take my gloves off, Camelback off, and all that. And one time I was up at Sundance with my friend Mike. I think Tim was there and a couple other buddies. And we were in Mike's car, and I was wearing my full face helmet because we were riding the Sundance ski lifts down, and so we were doing some downhill. I wanted a little more protection, and I took my Smith Voodoo sunglasses that I had, and I didn't put them in my helmet because it was a full face helmet, and instead I put them on the roof of the car. We drove away. I lost $140 pair of sunglasses. So probably someone else has them walking around. But for me, it's I've just kind of got to be in a routine. So just slowing down, taking a double check. I did that when we were at St. George at the Bear Claw Poppy Trail. We got everything loaded up. Boys are in the truck. We're ready to go. Before I climbed in, I came and looked around. I looked on the bumper. I looked all around the tires under the truck. I looked along the sides to make sure we didn't set anything down. Because another time out at Y Pass on Carpenter Bypass Road a few years ago, I had my Mazda And I put my sunglasses down when I had the trunk open, and I got my helmet, everything on, ready to go. And I shut the door and smashed my sunglasses. So those Smith sunglasses used to be interchangeable. Now I had to super glue them together, and they've only got one set of lenses in there. So I really got to pay attention, and especially when I'm out of my routine. But just making sure that gear's good. So whether you're out mountain biking, you're hiking, you're camping, you know, just making sure that gear matches up. And, you know, for me, it's just a reminder to slow down and look at it and see if everything makes sense that I should have there and if it's all compatible. Let me know what you think. Any suggestions or future videos that you'd like to see, I'd love to hear it. And again, thanks for watching Outdoor Gear and Skills.